Hello, everyone. My name is Kirk. I have come with Logan all the way from New Zealand. Phew! I think we had 25 hours in the air, plus all the in-between, and we are stoked to be here with you. Since October last year, I started serving with Christian Surfers as the Asia Pacific director. And so I get to oversee all that God is doing in the Asia Pacific, which is growing and it's getting real exciting. Yay! My wife and our 4 kids back home, we heard the words family on mission before we knew that it was one of the key values of Christian Surfers. And when we started the role, we said, Lord, how are we going to fundraise our salary and how are we going to fundraise the ability to travel as a family? And it just felt like he said, put your house on Airbnb. And 3 days later, we got one 64-day booking. And so we had to then move out of our house for 64 days. But that one booking paid for all of our flights to go to Tahiti. And we knew that that was the first place that we wanted to go as a family because next year the Olympics has surfing in it, and it's in France, but French Polynesia, Tahiti, is hosting the surfing. And hooray! And this is a big deal for the Pacific Islands because it's the first and potentially only time that an Olympic event will be held in a Pacific Island. And so it's a big deal, and it's awesome that Tahiti was selected to have it. We went there for the Tahiti Christian Surfers National Gathering in August, and it was perfectly timed that we were there during the WSL. I have a big, long story that I'd love to tell you, but I only have 7 minutes, and it's kind of beside the point. But through serving and through just God opening doors, and it was actually through our children. So we were there for 3 weeks, and this is for parents. 90% of the opportunities or the things that God led us into was through our children. And one of them was our 4-year-old busting to poo, and that meant that we got to speak to some officials who let us in to use the toilets that were only for the athletes. And the other was through my 2-year-old son, who we felt after the opening of the Tahiti contest, we felt to just go and pray on the point. And so we sat on the point looking out to Chopu, and behind us was all the houses there. And I didn't know at the time, but that's where all the officials for the WSL were staying. And we're praying, and I open my eye and see that my 2-year-old's wandered off. And so I followed him, and I was like, missing the prayer meeting. But actually, I was like, no, this is all part of it, and I know that God's already going to be using this. Long story short, my son was playing with a gate, and the word for us was entree, entry points. And so we were praying actually on the point. We're praying as a team for entry points in to serve the WSL. The head official for the WSL came along and saw my son playing with the gate into his house. And he said, shall I sign your son up to help us out this week? And I said, sign him up and then sign me up. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I'm here with Christian Surfers. This is our team over here, and we're here to serve. We'll serve with toilets, rubbish, setting stuff up. What do you need? And he said, okay, I've had a bit to do with Christian Surfers in Australia. And he took my details on WhatsApp. That night we had a prayer meeting, and I just felt to send this guy Steve a message. And I said, hey, is there anything that we can do to serve you guys? And he said, if you can get here at 7 a.m. tomorrow, I need you to be in the athlete's tent. And I was like, I will be there early. And this is how God works, right? Is that through serving, through the ability to just be on any job, big or small. And he literally said to me, he said to me on the first day, he said, look, you're not going to be able to go in the channel and watch the surfing. You're not going to be able to get free accommodation. Turns out people that offer to volunteer probably ask for accommodation. You might not get food. You might not get this, and this. I said, I'm not here for that. We're here to serve you guys. This is what we want to do as Christian surfers. And so I was stacking Red Bull in their Red Bull fridges, and I was opening umbrellas, and I was putting the names up on the big leaderboard, and I was just doing all the jobs that they asked me to do, and I was asking God, like, what other things can I see and what things can I do? And by about lunchtime on the first day, I had the 4 key official guys come over to me, and they were like, who are you and what are you doing? And here's a walkie-talkie, and you can talk to the guys in the judges' tower and in the channel. And they all of a sudden just started giving me jobs to do, and it was a pleasure to do it. There was 3 days of no contest, and the next day that the contest was on, they sent us a message and said, "Can you guys serve again?" And I said, "Oh." It was a moment of like, oh, that's the day of our Christian Surfers National Gathering for Tahiti, and I was like, oh, I don't want to lose that opportunity. But God was like, the main thing is the main thing. So I said, sorry, we can't be there that day. I'm really sorry to let you down. The next night, he messages and he says, finals day tomorrow, can you be there again? And we were there first thing in the morning. Those 4 guys came up to me one by one, and they didn't give me jobs. They were like, hey, how was your Christian Surfers gathering? What did you do? Oh, I spoke. What did you speak on? Really? And all of a sudden, I'm able to share the gospel, share what God is doing through Christian Surfers, and share why we're here serving. 11 a.m. that morning, they said, Kirk, can you get to the jet skis? And I came out to the jet skis, and they said, we want to take you out to the channel. And I was on the Marshall boat, which is where they do the interviews, post and pre, and they give out the vests. And I'm like, this is unbelievable that God sort of went from no job, no ability to serve, to now I'm in the channel. And they said, we want to show you how we run the contest, and we want to introduce you to people like, this all had a point, like the lady who is the operations manager for the Olympics. And I was like, wow, God, you've just opened the opportunity and the doors into this. And so all that to say, through that time, God presented these opportunities to serve. 2 weeks ago, I got back from, I went with the New Zealand sea salt team to Fiji. And in Fiji, we were able to serve, and we connected with different people, and we surfed Tavarua. I got home. The night that I got home on a Thursday night, WSL announced the tour for next year. Jeffreys Bay got cut, but Fiji got added. And I messaged Steve, and I said, hey, Christian Surfers, can we serve at Tahiti and Fiji? And he said, absolutely, this is awesome. So it's interesting that God opened all these doors for serving the WSL. And yet, while we were there, it was really interesting to see and meet the locals of Tavarua, who it's quite an interesting dynamic where the Olympics have said, we don't want the help from the WSL, we're doing this on our own. There was going to be a village in Tahiti. Now all the athletes are staying on a cruise ship. And so it's really interesting. And so at the time, and I've got a video that I was going to play, which is, I won't play it because of time, and I want to pass over to here. But it's me sitting on a boat in the channel, sharing, and it was going to go out to the whole world to say, hey, if you want to serve at the Olympics in Tahiti, and then someone gets absolutely barreled behind me, just spat out, and I forgot what I was saying because I looked. And that's the video, but I can't play it, and I can't put it on social media because at this point, if we send a team to Tahiti next year, there is a very high likelihood that we won't be allowed anywhere near the contest. And so all that to say is that God has been opening doors with the WSL, and I'm believing that he's going to open doors for opportunities with the Olympic Committee. But yeah, I don't want to sort of get a whole bunch of people to travel to Tahiti and then they'll just be watching it on a big screen, half an hour away from the actual event. So if you would partner with us and pray for open doors into being able to serve and like what we can do to serve on the ground, that would be amazing. And then we're going to be able to post that. You can play it with no sound if you wanted. And then just join us in prayer for opportunities to be able to serve. This is the day before the contest. And then watch this. And I can tell you, if you haven't been there, like the sound of the wave is what got me. Like the sound of it is like I've never heard that before. It's like all the water dredging off the bottom and it goes below sea level. And everyone was like, "Did you surf it?" And I was like, "Heck no." I didn't even feel safe in the boat. So Tahiti as a Christian surfers team to serve next year is a big question mark, maybe, but there is opportunity to serve in the beaches here in France, and that's where you jump in.